5. The Fast Food Fiend. TG felt a tingling of energy all through his body as his feet left the ground. He felt a rush of air go past his face, blowing his hair back. In a flash his feet hit the floor again, and as he opened his eyes he saw a rainbow mist disappearing into the air. He shook his head. He was back in the small room carved in the hillside. The warriors were sitting on a black plastic bench in a little perspex bus shelter. The pink seat had gone. To one side there was a dark tunnel just like before, but this time the poster said, "Tram stop here for the Triple F Cyber Cafe." From inside the tunnel the sound of rock music came echoing towards them. The air was filled with the unmistakable smell of fried onions, hamburgers and hot dogs. TG's tummy rumbled. He was very hungry after being sick outside the giant humbug. On the bench was a dark green baseball cap with bright fluorescent green writing on it saying FFF. Next to it was a lime green card with crinkly fluorescent edges and dark green writing. TG picked it up and read, "Invitation. The Fast Food Fiend cordially invites Master TG, also known as Terry Grant, to eat to the beat for free at the Triple F Cyber Cafe. Now. P.S. The cap's for you." Putting on the cap, he held out the invitation to the warriors. "Look, this is for me, whoever is the Fast Food Fiend." Before any of them could answer, out of the tunnel glided a bright lime green train. "Ding, ding, ding," sang out the bell as the tram glided to a halt. Pasted along the sides were fluorescent posters of hamburgers, hot dogs and chips. The doors slid open and out jumped a tall, thin, pimply-faced young man. Perched backwards and to one side of his head was a baseball cap, just like the one TG had on. In his hand he held a half-eaten hot dog. Taking a bite and ignoring the warriors, he swaggered up to TG, sniffing loudly. He stopped right in front of him and scanned him from top to bottom. It made TG feel very uncomfortable indeed. He looked just like the big bullies that hung around the streets at home. TG edged closer to the warriors. "Nice to meet you, TG, mate. My name's Kev," grinned the teenager as he wiped greasy fingers down his jeans and grabbed TG by the hand, shaking it energetically. "You're going to come and meet the Fiend? He can't wait to meet you and show you his cool Triple F. His food's out of this world." Before TG could say or do anything, Kev yanked him by the arm, pulled him on the tram, and then sat down drumming his fingers and whistling through his teeth to the beat of the loud rock music. TG was so relieved that Kev hadn't hit him or called him names that he relaxed, and soon Kev was chatting and telling TG jokes as if he was now an old friend. TG felt grown up and important and started to drum his finger on the armrest just like Kev. When he thought no one was looking, he pulled the cap round to wear it the way Kev was wearing his. The warriors exchanged despairing glances and reluctantly hopped onto the train. When they were all seated, TG turned to them and shrugged. "Well, let's go and meet the Fiend." Smiling triumphantly at the warriors, Kev thrust the tram into gear and it sped off down the tunnel towards the Triple F Cyber Cafe and the Fast Food Fiend. It screeched to a halt outside a large building made entirely of green glass and sparkling silver chrome. Through the enormous windows, TG could see suspended floors with rows and rows of computers displayed on glass tables. Kev jumped down from the driver's seat and started towards the green glass building, then disappeared through the revolving doors. TG followed. He was swung off his feet as a great gust of wind took him, sucking him into the doors. Round he went, then round again, and then whooshed out into the loud, twinkling green interior of the Triple F Cafe. TG landed with a bump, feeling a little dizzy and confused. The music was deafening and there was a buzz of shouting and laughter. He couldn't make much out because his eyes hadn't become used to the dim light. The next thing he knew, there were hands under his arms pulling him to his feet, and a deep, wheezy voice boomed, "Hi there, TG, me old mate. Welcome to me Triple F Cyber Cafe. I'm the fast food fiend. Me pens call me the Fiend." He sounded breathless, as if he'd just been running. TG found himself staring up into the pale, round, squishy face of an enormous man. He had piercing blue eyes and a huge nose squashed over to one side like a boxer. His full, wet lips were spread into an enormous grin. His breath smelt horribly of stale onions and old meat. TG had to turn his head to one side to avoid the stench. On his shaven head, the man sported the same type of baseball cap Kev had given TG, except on this one the FFF was flashing on and off, just like lime green Christmas lights. Standing up, TG came face to face with the most enormous wobbly belly he'd ever seen. Wobble, wobble, wobble. Before he had time to move away, the Fiend, smiling a big friendly smile, had put a big hairy hand on his shoulder and was gently guiding him to one of the tables. As the Fiend wobbled breathlessly beside TG, he got out a package of antacid tablets and popped one into his mouth, then rubbed his big fat belly. "Blooming acid indigestion won't leave me alone." And a loud fart rumbled from his bottom as he shook his leg, laughing. "Bear out the nin. Hold your breath, TG." TG didn't know where to look. The smell was disgusting. By now, his eyes had become used to the dim light, so he stared around the room. The whole atmosphere was soaked with tantalising aromas. First cheese and tomato pizza wafted past his nose, then essence of hot dog. "Show TG the wonders of our cafe," said Fiend to Kev, pointing to one of the computers. Then he waddled slowly off on his fat legs, the back of his gleaming white trainers flashing fluorescent green FFF. On his way, he leant over and picked up a big dish of greasy chips and stuffed them into his mouth as fast as he could. On a nearby glass-topped table was a flat-screen computer with the screensaver flashing words in a never-ending loop. Fiendishly fabulous food. Experience virtual food at the Cyber Cafe, in-house band, toxic overload, eat to the beat. Meet the fast food, fiendishly fabulous, and on it went.